Hey Tim, do you think you should apologize to Denton Loudermill, that guy that you accused of being a mass shooter? I think he wants to left it up for 4 days, Tim, and never apologized to the guy. Why didn't you apologize to that guy? It's such an easy thing to do. Just apologize to the man.
You know, your mother told me, allegedly, that you were the second biggest disappointment in her life.
Everyone remember when the disgraceful clown that is Tim Burchett showed his contempt for being held accountable by his constituents for his actions?
All of the bills that gave money to Tennessee that funded all these projects that everybody loves around here, why did you oppose all of those?
Because only 10% went to infrastructure.
What did the rest go to?
Woke programs that you and your followers like.
What does woke mean, Tim? What is woke?
You are woke.
Yeah, what does that mean?
Oh,
what's your definition?
Offensive.
Offensive to you?
No, offensive
so anything
to 90%.
That offends Tim Burchett? Isn't that most things? You seem to be offended by everything, Tim.
Most people are just offended by you.
What's the right amount of
debt? We have
$35
trillion.
What's the right amount of debt? What's the right amount of debt? What's a good amount of debt, Tim? Do you have personal debt?
Zero debt.
You have zero debt? I doubt that, Tim. Before that, that's great. What about raising taxes on the wealthy and corporations? What about that? If you want to deal with debt, shouldn't income be part of that equation and not just stopping spending? Isn't obstructing easy? Isn't that the easy way out for $174,000 a year just to say no to everything? Can't anybody do that? Can't we send a chair up there to do that, Tim? You could just send a chair up there to do that.
And when he ran away with his tail between his legs when confronted about the inconsistencies in his so-called solutions for reducing the national debt by Tennessee Hollow reporter Justin Canoe.
3 precious little kids lost their lives, and I believe 3 adults, and the shooter, of course, lost their life too. So it's a horrible, horrible situation, and we're not going to fix it. Criminals are going to be criminals. I don't see any real role that we could do other than mess things up, honestly, because of the situation. It's like I said, I don't think a criminal's going to stop from guns. You know, you can print them out on the computer now, 3D printing, and there's really, I don't think you're going to stop the gun violence. I think you've got to change people's hearts. You know, as a Christian, as we talk about in the church, and I've said this many times, I think we really need revival in this country.
How about when he threw his hands in the air and refused to even entertain the idea that Congress can at least help to quell the gun violence epidemic in the wake of the deadliest mass shooting in his state's history? When he's not spitting in the faces of his own constituents and calling Vice President Kamala Harris a, quote, DEI hire, close quote, who didn't deserve her current title, let alone the presidency, he's playing defense for some of the grossest people in the MAGA ecosystem.
It's a clown show. It's Congress 101. They're releasing it right now, right before the big budget thing. It'll be a flake in the pan, and Matt will go on and make millions. Every one of these folks on the Republican side was appointed by the former speaker, which Matt and I both disposed of, I guess you would say. And
so you think this is revenge?
It's a revenge tour, and they're not winning because Matt's already got a new job, and he's doing well, and he's married to a beautiful woman. So it was wonderful, and I wish him well. It is not a court of law. I think it's vindictive in nature. I just don't see what the point in all this is. A couple of old-timers are going to cackle about it. And again, it's not been proven. This is just a report.
He goes to bat for this credibly alleged child trafficker, former Trump Attorney General nominee, former Florida congressman, and potential future Florida governor or senator, Matt Gaetz. Shout out to Politics on Twitter for the edit here. Now, if you somehow still haven't heard about or read the House Ethics Committee report for yourself,
they believe that they found substantial evidence that Matt Gaetz is guilty of statutory rape, that he engaged in sexual activity with a 17-year-old girl who at the time testified before the committee that she had just finished her junior year of high school. This was during a party in 2017 where this girl testified to the committee. She's now a woman, but testified to the committee at the time that she and Gaetz had sex on 2 different occasions at this party. They also had that testimony backed up by the testimony of other witnesses who were at this party at the same time. In fact, one of the engagements between this then girl and Gaetz happened in public view where other people could see it. They list some $90,000 in transactions among 12 different women which they use messaging apps and cash apps, Venmo, things along those lines, to connect the dots between Gaetz' sexual activity and these women. And then also the testimony from the women where they claimed that they believed that the activity that they were engaged in was the result of these payments from Gaetz.
While this disgusting and damning report doesn't legally prove Gaetz' guilt, the details and allegations speak for themselves.
The committee saying there's, quote, substantial evidence that Gaetz had sex with an underage girl in 2017, an allegation Gaetz has repeatedly denied. That woman, now in her 20s, told the committee she had sex with Gaetz when she was 17 and had just finished her junior year of high school. She said she never told Gaetz she was under 18 and he did not ask, but claims the then congressman paid her $400 in cash that evening, which, quote, she understood to be payment for sex. Now Gaetz is firing back on social media, saying the payments were gifts to women he was dating. The committee voting to publish its years-long investigation based on nearly 14,000 documents and more than 24 interviews.
Claims against Mr. Gaetz, I think, are sufficiently serious that we thought, that there should be transparency on this and that release was important for the public.
While Gaetz denies all wrongdoing and will more than likely fight these allegations for the rest of his political career, if he decides to go that route, Donald Trump, like the rest of MAGA, will be right there to defend his honor and welcome him back into the fold with open arms. If you can and are willing, please become a paid member here at TYT Sports. And or go to tyt.com/join. In addition, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Appreciate it. Have a great day.